Let me introduce my first speaker of the day. YouTube was first launched in 2005. Fast forward 15 years and YouTube Shorts was born in September 2020. Our first speaker of the day is YouTube's head of partnerships for Singapore, Malaysia, and the Philippines. He's with us today to talk about creative freedom with multiple formats. Ladies and gentlemen, Siddharth Srinivasan.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me at the back? All good? Yeah. Thanks so much for being here. It's wonderful to be here early on a Friday. I'm Siddharth, and I lead our partnerships teams here for Singapore and some of our other markets in Southeast Asia. And what that actually means is we work with content creators like yourself to help you succeed on our platform. As simple as that. Now, there are a lot of people on YouTube, you know this, and they're consuming content in all content types, right? But this is something you already know. So what you might be wondering is, where are we heading to? So the first thing I will encourage you to do is to actually go on YouTube's blog and check out our letter from our new CEO, Neil Mohan, where he actually lays out some of our priorities. But a couple of things that I wanted to point your attention to is this. The first thing is, in supporting the creator's success, we are actually trying to see what are the multiple ways that we can help you earn revenue. And the second thing, in really building out the future of our platform, is to make sure that you can create with complete freedom on your terms. And I'm going to talk a bit about that in the rest of my session today. Now, we all know that in today's day and age, the consumer wants everything on their own terms. It's got to be what they want, when they want, how they want, right? And that's really what we're trying to equip at YouTube. So if you really look at our scale, we're saying no matter the format, how do we make sure that the consumer gets that in one place? And what's that implication for content creators? Now, if you take a look at our short form play, which is Shorts, which we actually launched APAC first. You know, this has had tremendous scale. It's now at about 30 billion views a day, which is no small number. I mean, the contribution of Shorts to the overall YouTube ecosystem, I can tell you that that is absolutely staggering. And if you sort of look at this number, which is almost 4x growth in a couple of years, and then you think about the fact that there are multiple fundamental things that we're adding into this. For example, we added a $100 million Shorts fund previously, and now, along with all of the creation, we've actually rolled out early this year monetization, and I'm going to talk a bit about that later on. Not just that, Shorts is a new product for us and a new way of creation for us, but we have connected it into the 15 plus years of content creation heritage that we have. So any video on YouTube that you're watching, anytime inspiration hits, you can actually click the create button, take audio or the video clip and actually remix it and create on top of that. And this has massive scale. In just a month, we have seen over 100 billion views coming from remixed content, right? Any one of you here can do this today on any video that you like. Now, while we sort of look at this space, right? You'll understand the long form or the VOD space quite well, because you've been spending maybe 10 years on YouTube in that way. But let's see what is actually working on Shorts, right? Now, Shorts sort of sits with its own trends and formats today if we really look at what's landing. And so it might be important to understand what works in that world so you could natively create for that, both from a tools standpoint, but also from a creativity standpoint. So let's walk through a few ideas. The first thing that we really see, you know, YouTube, if you really look at the consumer's behavior over 10 plus years, it's people coming to YouTube to learn something. And this, of course, plays out in Shorts as well. So hacks is a fantastic space to be in any content vertical. It could be beauty, it could be fashion, it could be lifestyle, it could be education. You know, looking at Singapore, our own Dr. Tristan Pei, apart from his ASMR formats, you also see the wonderful hacks that he gives you around dental hygiene, right? Education in under 60 seconds, right? That's a great example of someone landing well in this space. The second example, relatability.
YouTube is a platform built around you, the creator, directly continuing and establishing a community and having that relationship over a long period of time. And when you do that, you can actually produce a lot of relatable content where you're talking to your viewers about things that you see in your life which really make sense in the context of theirs. And then together, you can sort of build a relationship and have a conversation around that. The third example is gamification. So can you do something where you sort of create a stake, where there's a bit of competition, where you're gamifying the outcome? You know, again, over here, our own Mingwei, he does that so well, right? So how can you sort of introduce a fun and a gamified experience into your content? You know, that's idea 3. Now, the fourth idea, something very interesting and particular to the Shorts ecosystem is storytelling. You know, we find a lot of the times the top formats and trends and content are really stories and narratives that have a clear beginning, middle, and end. Right? It's not just about performance, but it's about having a clear narrative. Can I tell a story in 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 60 seconds? And by the way, when you do this, you know, the 3 things that I told you about previously, you can actually incorporate them in that, right? And this is one of the standout formats which work within the world of Shorts. So, you know, take notice of this. Right? Now, everything here is about the interconnection of formats. It's really important to understand this. Because, you know, put yourself in your own shoes as a consumer. You know, when you open up the YouTube app, you know, you're going through the homepage, you click on a long form video, you move to the side, you go to the Shorts tab. So, you know, your viewing experience is quite fluid, right? Maybe you're on a live stream. And that's really the opportunity you have today. Now, consider an example, right? If you look at the story of a piece of content. So let's say you have a really popular song like Say So by Doja Cat, right? You know, you've got the official music video on YouTube. And that results in a trend, which is on Shorts, which sort of then catches the platform's imagination. From there, you start seeing long-form VOD content created around that. And then that inspires the next wave of Shorts content creation. You know, that's sort of the journey that we're seeing in content. So as creators yourself, it's really important to understand that journey from a viewer standpoint so you know what you want to do in that whole life cycle. This is exactly why when you take a look at some of the biggest stars in the global music space, right, they are actively trying to play into this journey where long, live, and short all are connected. So here are some examples in very different veins, right? The first, here's a Blackpink example. Classic dance challenge. We all know this format.
It's me. I am the problem. It's me. 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 It's me.
Now, when you look at this, different. It's community, it's identity, it's an emotional connection. You know, we had this BTS challenge, the second exclusive challenge that we had with them, you know, last year. And that was, again, around your favorite stories around fandom. You know, we've just have a campaign launched with Meghan Trainor, Mother. I'd encourage you to check that out. So there are so many different things that you can do here, and everyone here is realizing the value between the complete life cycle, long, short, and live, how it all plays together. Which is why we would say that creating is most rewarding on YouTube. And the reason is, we're really trying to do 3 things for you. The first, freedom of creative expression. It's your idea, it's your format, and whatever that is, you get to find a way to put it up on YouTube. You do not have to pigeonhole yourself, number 1. Number 2, you're in it for longevity. Over a long period of time, you want consistency of a relationship and a connection with your audience, and you want control. And you want to actively be able to have conversations with them. How can we build that emotional bridge? That's the second point. And the third point, well, we've all got to make money. There has to be a number of ways to make money here. How do we equip you with a number of revenue streams directly? And of course, set you up for all of the indirect revenue streams that you would obviously do yourselves, right? Such as brand partnerships and so on, right? I'm going to talk a bit about this in one or two of the next slides. So, if you go to YouTube, you will see a channel that's run by us, which is called YouTube Creators, right? Just go there, search, you'll find YouTube Creators. And this is where we put out a lot of our information, updates, and announcements to the community. When we launched monetization on Shorts earlier this year, when we actually revamped the YouTube Partner Program, which has been a successful program for the last 10 odd years, we actually put out this video. I'm going to play a part of it, but the rest of it, you could check it out online.
Hey creators, today we're announcing exciting updates coming to YouTube. First, we're providing new monetization opportunities and expanded access to more creators with the YouTube Partner Program. YouTube is a place where creators of all types can thrive, so we're building out the program to better reflect that and reward all the amazing content you create. Second, we're rolling out new ways for Shorts creators to sustainably grow on YouTube with ad revenue sharing and super thanks. We're also introducing Creator Music, a new destination in YouTube Studio that gives creators easy access to an ever-growing catalog of music for use in their videos while still earning money from ads. We'll walk through what's changing and
So this is what is new. It's now the start of a sustainable business. We're on the ground floor of building that up. So last year, if you were a VOD creator, you would have 1,000 subscribers, you would have 4,000 hours of content watched in the last 12 months, and you could join the YouTube Partner Program, which helps you monetize, gets you access to priority support, programs, and a bunch of resources. This year, you can also be a Shorts creator, have 10 million valid public Shorts views, and you can join the program. So with every format of creation, we're finding a pathway into this to bring more creators into sustainable long-term businesses, right? That's what we want to do. And when you look at monetization, there are multiple ways that you can earn directly from YouTube. One, you've got ad revenue. We've just launched this in Shorts. We've always had this in VOD, right? Second, we've got a consumer payments program called Premium. And so you get a revenue share of the money that we collect from that. That's two. Third, we have multiple ways of consumer payments directly to channels, either through channel memberships, super chat, super thanks, where you can actually engage or build specific value propositions directly for your consumers and have recurrent or one-time payment opportunities with them. The next, commerce. If any of you have a Shopify site, you can actually link that, a Shopify store, you can actually link that to your channel and immediately start driving commerce, or you could launch one. Branded opportunities. And these are just some of the ways that we're doing this today, right? There'll be more ideas in the future. I think we're the only platform which offers all of these mechanisms, keeping in mind, the long-term needs of the space. And so what does that actually mean? Right now in Singapore, we've got about 800 channels that have over 100K subscribers, right? And this is growing each and every year. And if you think about it, right, in Singapore, we reach about 4 million people, which is above the age of 18, which is pretty much almost anybody with an internet connection and a cell phone, right? And these creators, apart from the other thousands that are in the ecosystem, not just have the ability to reach across any format across this entire audience, but they're also succeeding globally. So if you look at content created out of Singapore, 95% of the consumption happens outside of Singapore, which means that you as a creator here, you can succeed in your country and you can succeed globally. We offer you that opportunity with real revenue models. So what now? Maybe some of you are already advanced in your YouTube journey. Maybe some of you have just started, or maybe it's a side thing. Maybe for some of you, you've been thinking about it, but you don't know if you should or should not, right? So maybe here are just 3 or 4 simple things which could sort of make sense for you, right? The first thing, really think about your why. Who is your audience? What's your value proposition? What do you want to say? What's your identity? And can you do that for a long duration, right? You know, that's fundamental. Articulate it to your audience. Let them know. Step 2, now this is critical. We're not in the business of algorithm. We are all in the business of building consumer habits, media habits. I get up in the morning, I read the paper. Yes, I still do. I go to work, I listen to the radio, I come back, I listen to news. These are media habits. You have to build your audience's habits, which is particular to each and every one of your channels. Figure out your schedule, let them know that, stick to it. It's got to be sustainable, and it has to be long-term. Habits take time to form. Habits also take a long time to break. So keep that in mind. That's number 2. Third one, consistency is everything. Consistency of voice, consistency of schedule, consistency of format, right? You never know if a video is going to work or not. But over a period of time, you know if a format is working or not. And you live or you die by the success of your format, not video. So keep that in mind. And then last but not least, you know, the graph is not platform to consumer. The graph is creator to consumer. You will build a community. So use the tools such as community, stories, comments, all of that to actively engage, learn about, share more with your audience, and build that community. And that's it. Thank you for your time today.